Riproviamo a connetterci. Eccoci.
Now,
Hello,
ciao.
hello, we made it. I can see you. I can see you.
Wait. Can you see me or is
Yes.
it impossible?
Thank you for your time today, Christopher.
So it is. Let
I
me
know
just
that.
go. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Absolute way to start
Good
this
talk.
chat about
It's good.
style,
It's
about
good.
Italy, about heritage, about your passions, and everything else, and so on.
So come stai? Tutto bene?
Bene, bene. I was telling the people
Oh,
before,
perfetto.
as I was trying to connect with you, like my profession, who I am, but most importantly, like who you are. I told them about Plaza Uomo. I told them about the publishing that you do with a lot of magazine, but we're gonna go more deeper into it. Do you wanna introduce yourself first, and then we go on from that?
No, you can do whatever you want me to do, so to speak. You know, my name is Christopher Östlund of Plaza Uomo. As you mentioned, I'm a magazine publisher. That's how I see myself foremost, meaning that I publish publications in different fields. It's everything from men's fashion to food and wine to interior design, interior decoration. Mostly monthly publications in Scandinavia, but also sold in different countries all over the world. Plaza Uomo is only 2 times per year, and Plaza Uomo USA is also 2 times per year, and food magazine Gourmet is 7 times. But our business up in Scandinavia, so many Swedish magazines, of course, and then our international publications. So the Swedish ones we sell in Scandinavia, mostly in Sweden, of course, because it's in Swedish. But in Scandinavia, you know, you read, Norway don't have so many magazines, so they read a lot of Swedish.
I did my homework.
Yes, true.
So how did you start this path? Like,
noticed.
what did bring you here? And let's start with your story, like why you're here and why all started.
All right. No, but first of all, I'm from a town called Uppsala, which is a university town in Sweden.
Wow.
It's the oldest university in Northern Europe. It's also the center of the church, and we also have the biggest hospital in Sweden.
Holy.
And then it's also the center of the Vikings of Sweden, come from old Uppsala, as we say. But my background is from there. But when I was already a child, my mother and father, they lived in Paris for 5 years.
Did I know that?
And then they moved
didn't know that.
It already. Yes.
The beauty.
Trastevere. In Trastevere, just by the the lake.
The river.
The river. Yes, the river, sorry. The river.
It's beautiful there. And
exactly.
Tell us about where it all started. Like, where did you get the passion on the Italian heritage? And you go ahead.
So first of all, just to give you a small background. So as a kid, my father was a painter and a sculptor, and my mother was a writer. So my background in the family is the writing, of course, from my mother's side, and colors and style and these kind of things. So and in our family, everyone is working more or less with jobs,
creative,
which is not 9 to 5. We all are more in creative businesses. Yes. So from that environment, I got into media in the end of the 80s when the TV channel, the first commercial TV channel started in Sweden, or the second, as a matter of fact, Nordic Channel it was called. And yes, and then I was doing some other things. I started bungee jump, which is jumping from a high crane, and then I started the student paper. I bought myself into the
Okay.
student paper, as a matter of fact, because they already had published one issue, and so yeah. And then I started Plaza in 1994 as a magazine, so to speak. And in the 90s, it was a little bit different times in Sweden. We had a very big dip in the financial real estate. That's true. Det var
Was
ju born.
everything like since the beginning, the focus of what you wanted to do was always having a little bit of more eyes for Italy heritage, or you started from somewhere else?
As a matter of fact, in one of the publications, Plaza Interior, which is a monthly interior title here in Scandinavia, in Sweden, one of the largest one in Scandinavia, to be honest. I wrote an article about my love for Italy and how it started, and I was thinking quite much about it a couple of months ago. And I think from the beginning it was France for me, because I was every year we went to France. So the French part was part of my ground, so to speak. But in the 80s, Italy came up, because do remember, people don't remember that, but in the 80s and the 90s, it was quite difficult for me. I could speak French quite okay, but when I went to Italy, I didn't speak Italian, so it was a little bit complicated to be also a young guy. And today it's completely different, because today more or less most of the people can speak English, and
we do our best.
No, but it's I think, especially if you think the northern Italy, yes. But so in the 80s, I started to be very interested in the design scene. I was interested of clothes very early, already when I was 14. I was in Paris buying clothes. I was even my first trip to Italy was when I was 15, alone. Think of this, alone. So I was in France, and I wanted to go to Italy to buy some men's fashion, because at that time I had a magazine from Italy, a L'Uomo Vogue, and yes, and so I took the train from Hyères, which was the part in Côte d'Azur where I was, and my father took me to the train station, and then I took the train to Torino. But the thing was, I came to Torino in July, and I was thinking I'm going to buy some fashion clothes, but that is the end of the saldo, of the sales in Italy, so there was nothing, honestly. No, it was. I came home. I remember with a Trussardi
all that was
type,
left.
sweater. It was one of my first in Torino.
Went to Torino by choice.
No, yes, by choice. That's a complete another story, which, because it was completely crazy, because at that time I couldn't understand that there was 3 train station in a city. I was used to, in my hometown there is one, in Stockholm there is also one, and in Torino you have Padiglione Centrale, I think it was, or Centrale or whatever, and then it was north and south. And I remember I came first, and then I jumped off, and that was completely, I was in a completely other part of Torino, so I had to take the train back, and then I had to find a hotel. At that time there was no, this is the 80s, so I had to walk. Yes, in 40 degrees Torino to find a hotel.
Did everything start from there? Like the thinking about, oh, I like fashion. I do know what's worth that in Italy, so I want to focus on that in my future, and or it came after?
No, both yes and no, because what hit me already then, when I was 15 alone in Torino, was I found that the Italian personality was extremely nice. Everyone. I remember the guy who had the hotel. He was nice. I remember even the girl who served me in the breakfast because I was asking for milk, lait in French, and it's latte in Italian. And I realized, it's quite similar, but also, and I've dedicated my life a lot because Plaza Omo, which is the magazine most people in this business know about, it's about men's fashion. I also named it
to
Omo.
connect.
Yes. Beginning was more, I noticed from the beginning when I was young, the Italian way of dressing is something completely different from the rest of the world. The way, the style of the Italian man, understated luxury, that was when you're a kid and you start to see that very, very early.
And now it's coming back, but at the time when you started, tailoring was already like a huge thing, right? It was very important for men of a certain status to follow that direction of, being part of a tailor experience, isn't it?
Both yes and no, because at that time in the 80s, there was first you had the watches, mechanical watches, for example, was really nearly disappeared from the market, because in the 70s, all major brands of watches were hit by the digital era. And I think also tailoring, because if I see it in the story of our family or my family or relatives, I noticed, of course, that many of them had suits that were tailored, which was quite popular in Sweden, because Sweden have a good heritage also of tailoring clothes, which also disappeared in the 60s and the 70s. So in the 80s, this was the start of Giorgio Armani. I bought my first Giorgio Armani in Paris. I think it was 1982. Giorgio Armani was not so well known because the American Gigolo came out, the movie, which was the hit for Giorgio Armani. From that, after that movie, everyone knew about Giorgio Armani. But I'll tell you another secret which not so many people know.
Seriously?
But Armani was a big client of us in the 90s, yes, and they advertised a lot. And I remember one of the advertising persons told me that Christopher, Mr. Armani, likes Plaza a lot. And I was super happy. I was thinking, okay, does he read it? No, he doesn't read English. And it's Swedish at that time. It was Swedish only. And I was thinking, wow, I need to have it in English because I really would like him to read it. And but they told me that Mr. Armani himself was very much involved in which magazines they wanted to be seen, because do remember that 1998 to 2000 or something like that, magazine were the #1 in the world. There were no competition. There was no internet. Forget about that. And magazines were considered, of course, to be the top
point of reference
for all
for
brands
sure
to be seen in. So that was one of the things I remember, because we launched as the first publisher ever from Sweden to launch a Swedish magazine.
And it was already Plaza Uomo.
English one.
Okay.
No.
It evolved.
From the beginning, it was Plaza Magazine, and then it was Plaza Women, and then Plaza Interior. Plaza Omo started 2011. And yes, because the thing was, I wanted to launch it much earlier, but no one believed in it, not even in my own office. Everyone said, Chris, who is interested to read about this? And I said, I'm really interested in that. And so I really had to convince, but it was also at that time, all magazines all over the world always had a celebrity on the cover. And I wanted directly not to have that. That was the part. I didn't want to have a person. My point was that when you see the magazine, you should not really be sure who it is.
Kind of reflect themselves within the cover, right? Like it's yes and no.
Yes.
Yes and no.
So Yes and no, but
You're a Libra.
I'm a yes, and everyone knows that I'm a yes and
So
no
that's
guy.
why.
I'm a Libra, yes. That's true also. Yes, but honestly, everyone knows in the office. I tell everyone, listen, I say yes and no all the time, yes or no. So I don't know about that. But for example, one thing was the first cover. I remember that was very much because it was a very tough guy. He was walking in a park. Everyone said, Chris, I'm scared of that guy. And I said, yes, that's the point. But isn't he super stylish guy? If you meet him right alone in the park, you were thinking, because he had a big beard. At that time, no one had beard. Listen, no one had beard at 2007, 2000.
Long after.
The whole trend of beard started came around 2000. 2012, 2013, 14. Everyone should have beard. Yes.
No, without putting celebrities on it, it's beautiful, a beautiful start. So you're, as I know, you're into art, into architecture, into food, interiors. In other words, beauty. Do you actually, would you define yourself a bon vivant, as you say in Italian, un esteta, an aesthete? I don't know how you say that in English.
Yeah, but I'm very aesthetic as a person. I like, of course, because I love beautiful things. Not only as a Libra, because the Libra loves beautiful things, but I love. Okay, so everything I'm interested in, I try to have publications about. So I love interior decoration. I'm crazy about that. Of course, I like photography. I like art. I like fashion. It's a lot of things in life I like a lot. I don't say I'm good at it. A lot of people think always that Chris must be super good in,
you enjoy
for example, making food or things like that. But yes, because I have a food magazine. Yeah, but I always respect Italians when it comes to food, because they are the masters. There's no idea to even say anything. So but I'm a great taster. I remember, for example, in Italy,
that's
I see the old man goes out with the garbage. Just pretend like that. Wherever you are. No, it's not that. It's not due to that. But he goes out. He has a easy cashmere on, has some cool pants, and he looks very elegant, even with the garbage. And that's crazy, because wherever you go in the world, people look like trash when they go out with the trash. But in Italy, it's something. It's an elegance which is very hard to define, and it's nothing you can just say, okay, this is how I want to look like tomorrow. Because listen, honestly, it takes you 20 years, 30 years to get a certain style of elegance. And that's why it's so easy. For me, it's very easy to spot, honestly, on people. I don't want to judge anyone, because I think many people are beautiful how they are. But of course, the Italian man is
I take that.
There is no competition in the world, honestly.
You said to me exactly this, like how Italy for you is creativity, elegance, and also a great nest of artisanal heritage.
Of course, but it's also history. Also, Italy, look on Italy. Now I talk, as I said earlier today, I'm going to talk about my heart for Italy. Italy have it's like a sea without a bottom, in terms of whatever village you go to in Italy is always beautiful in its own sense. So, okay, of course, Florence for me is one of the most beautiful places on this planet. But it doesn't mean going to another village or another city close by or somewhere else in Italy is not beautiful, because every city is beautiful. Even the cities that sometimes looks a little bit ugly has its beauty too, because maybe they have some cool industry which had a cool building, or they have a great restaurant, or they have beautiful people or nice people. But wherever you go, I can't even remember I have eaten something which was not nice in Italy.
When I think about Plaza Uomo, I feel like you are, in general, with Plaza, the way to describe, to narrate about Italy is maybe even better than what an Italian can do, because Italian maybe think about it, okay, we have it for granted, and you don't really give it the right value. But thinking and seeing it from different outsiders' eyes, it's beautiful, and it really makes everything worth it. And proud of being Italian. I think between Italian, you can lose that sense of pride. So it's fascinating to see the way you speak about it.
Look, I give you an example which I think is quite interesting. It's many of my Italian friends say often when they describe me, Christopher, he knows sometimes more about Italy than our Italians. And I was always thinking, I was so happy that they have said so. But I also understand it, because when you live in Italy and you live in a beautiful village, wherever you are from Italy, you stay in that part because you love that part. I have been zigzagging around Italy for 30 years.
I know.
I really mean it, zigzagging everywhere. So if you ask me about the coastline in Tuscany, I can name each beach, every village. And if you ask me about, so I know strange, many Italians are maybe not so interested in, or but I'm of course an observer. But I always say, because if you look on Plaza Omo cover, it says Italian code, and I always searched for the Italian code. It was me who invented, but I was the first guy to use that word from the first issue of Plaza Omo, because the Italian code,
it's a lifestyle.
Something very, very interesting, because it's not just no, there is something in your DNA.
Exactly. You say that Plaza Uomo, it's more than a magazine, it's a way to live your life. And I think that's fully what you're doing to describe and to narrate whatever you focus on in your magazine. I always ask to the guests of BMEN Talks what for you luxury means. And since you are an aestheta, and we all know, an observer of beauty, do you think it's as luxury it can be a synonym of beauty, or the two words are not exclusive for one another?
Let me put it this way. Already 15 years ago, I wrote an article about what is luxury for me. Luxury for me is something which not so many other people think is luxury. Luxury for me is to be maybe with my friends on a beautiful place, to see things. Luxury, for many people, luxury is going to a hotel which is top notch.
Luxury.
It's not luxury for me, because do remember, for example, I gave you an example from another part of my life, which is the food and wine magazine Gourmet. Okay, so this is the oldest food and wine magazine there is in Scandinavia, and so for me, going to a really nice restaurant is of course something fantastic, but for me, it can also be at home somewhere. I see the mama is making the pasta pomodoro. She's been doing that for maybe 36 hours, and then you eat that food and you feel that's a crazy luxury for me. So, and I always say to everyone, this is something you can't pay for money, because honestly, pay 500 euros and you go to a super restaurant and that's luxury too, of course. I don't say anything about it, but to be invited to a family who maybe likes you feel that they really like you, even if you don't know them so well, and they serve you the best. That's a crazy luxury, which is very rare.
So for you, what does it mean today to be a man, and what does it mean to be a man in style today in 2023?
2023. No, but of course, first of all, as you know, you visit my party in Florence during Pitti Uomo, and as you know, we have about 800 guests coming to our event. And I always say to my friends who says, "Hey, Chris, can I come to your party in Florence?" And I say, "Yeah, welcome. But it's maybe bad for your self-confidence." And they always say, "Hey, Chris, what do you mean bad for my self-confidence?" Well, why do you say that? And I say, "Listen, you come there and there is more or less 90% of the invited people are men, super good looking. It's Italian guys looking like gods from the beginning, yes, of how they look like. And then they're super stylish. Of course, as a man, to be a man in that competition is not easy. And then, of course, for the girls, I always say it's heaven for them because there's no women there at all. So it's just, it's crazy, yeah. But being a man,
sorry if I interrupt. Before
today,
you finish, I would add, being a man today, where tailors, like beautiful tailors, are is less work like young people who want to work in this field. So in a world where this tailoring experience, this craftsmanship is almost disappearing. So
I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think so that it's disappearing because what I've seen is there's a lot of people who is young and come into the tailoring business. And
it's a true reality. Maybe they're not,
part of my publication, I send out the message, and I also was very happy to talk to some of the tailors who told me that there's a new generation now coming. There's guys who are maybe 20, 21, 22. They have saved all the money they have done working on Sundays or Saturdays, whatever, and they want a tailored suit. And I think that's something really fantastic. I don't judge people because people have to decide themselves what is it they want to spend their money on. And but I've seen it in a lot of different fields. I've seen it in the watch business. I've seen it even in the bed business, honestly, because in the 90s, when there was a Swedish company starting doing more luxury beds, people started to change their beds at home. So the movement of what's happening is very, very interesting. For me personally, I must say it's amazing and it's crazy, of course, to have the privilege to meet the tailor who suddenly look at you and make something for you, top-notch fitting, and how you look in it, and then you look stunning, but it's a hard question to say what is it to be a man today. It's
to a broad of
honestly,
a
I don't know what
concept,
to
maybe.
say about that. Yeah, exactly. Yes, to be alive today, if we say so, if you compared with your ancestors who maybe don't live today, what's the difference today? Okay, it's a crazy world, we all know that, and it's a challenging world. It's but if you see the beauty of it, the possibilities to see beauty in different ways, I think it's incredible. For example, just the way social media can give you the way of, for example, seeing paintings or sculptures and also read the story very quickly. For me, for example, who loves art, I can walk in a city, I see a sculpture, and I was wondering, okay, so who is this sculpture? And then I read a beautiful story. Maybe I read a story why the sculpture is placed there. It's crazy how much information there is. And so in that sense,
as a closing question, I don't know if it's compromising for you, but every customer really connect to a brand or not. Which is the brand or the tailor that you connect the most? If it's too compromising, you don't have to answer.
Of course, an Italian brand. So much I can say, but there is also one thing which is maybe different me from your other persons who've been interviewed, is that I'm Swedish. So being a Swedish, what does it mean to be a Swedish man? And I've always been very proud to be neutral. I have always said to everyone, because there's always someone say, yeah, don't talk to him, no, that's not so good, whatever. And I always say, listen, I'm Swedish, I'm neutral, I love everyone, as long as they're nice to me and I like them. And so for me, is that the same thing? Because as you understand, with the publications, we have a lot of tailors who are not only our clients or friends, but I'm friends with many brands, and I like many of them, and have the privilege to have become personal friend with many fantastic brands. You know, you have seen it yourself. We were another event during Fashion Week, and you noticed the relationship of that family, one of Italy's most famous families, how they react with me. It's not, you understand a little bit, and I like that they like me and I like them, you understand, and I always respected their craftsmanship. Because they make it in Italy, and for me, made in Italy is extremely important. And I always say to everyone that try to protect Pitti Uomo, because I think Pitti Uomo is a fantastic event. Don't leave Pitti for other things, and try to make your production in Italy, but also try to tell everyone, because of course the interesting thing is, why is this pants or this jacket, why is it so expensive? You have to explain, yeah, but Luigi, look on Luigi or
a story
Robella,
behind
whatever it is,
everything.
have made this, and you need to see them nearly in the face. Yes, you have to understand that they live in Italy.
You didn't compromise yourself.
Okay, that was
in any
nice
way.
of you to say.
So I wanted.
Don't know about that, but
I wanted to thank you so much for your time. Also, because I know
truth.
that you don't interview so much. You don't give interviews everywhere. So I'm feel honored, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. No, I normally want the magazine to speak their own language, and also the editor-in-chiefs.
That's true.
Which I have. I have a fantastic editors on every magazine.
Before you won a prize for Plaza Uomo through Ferrari, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yes, we did an article about the tailors in Naples, and I got the award in Milan during the World Conference in Rome, which is the center of exhibition. But what was good was that we were among the publishers in the world who is most positive about Italy. Because of course, if you ask me, in Gourmet we have Italian special 2 times per year, and in Plaza Magazine, another magazine we write about, we also have Italy as a theme 2 times per year. In the interior magazines, in Plaza Interior, the Swedish one is a lot of Swedish homes, but Swedish homes have a lot of Italian furniture also, or Italian design. Because Italy has an impact on the world. You are Italian, so
everywhere.
I see it. I see the influence Italy has.
Really, thank you for your time. I will see you soon in Milan. I expect from you to tell me when you come back. And thank you so much for your time. Big kiss, and have a great night. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you very much.
Bye. Ciao.
Okay, arrivederci.